Welcome to this video report on the digital marketing demonstration project undertaken by the Office of Child Support, a department of Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. This is Amy Price, Communications Representative with Michigan Office of Child Support, or OCS. The Digital Marketing Demonstration Project, sponsored by the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, OCSE, within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families, was a 24-month demonstration project with the goal of researching how digital marketing may help the child support program more effectively reach and serve families. In September 2018, OCSE awarded funds to 14 child support agencies to test digital marketing approaches and partnerships to reach parents that could benefit from child support services and create or improve two-way digital communication and engagement with parents. OCS was one of 14 child support agencies selected to participate in the project. Changes to Tanf eligibility requirements mean that many families in Michigan are no longer referred into the child support program as assistance recipients and may not be aware of what child support services are available to them. Tanf is Temporary Assistance to Needy Families. This grant opportunity has allowed OCS to research methods to reach these families, which will maximize the impact and cost effectiveness of future digital marketing efforts. Working with the marketing vendor Brogan & Partners, this project was initially designed as 3-month rounds of targeted digital marketing interventions focused on mobile devices. 3 rounds were originally planned, and a 4th statewide round was added in the final year of the project. 3 different messaging strategies were tested in the first 3 rounds, and then the best performing ads from each strategy were tested head-to-head in the final statewide round. The development of messaging strategies was informed by previous research on child support messaging undertaken in 2018 by the California Department of Child Support Services and Ogilvy, a marketing research firm. Our primary goal was to increase the proportion of non-referral online child support applications received during the intervention period by 5 percentage points. Basically, we were trying to increase the number of participants who requested services via our online application versus being referred into the program by Tanf. Our secondary goal was to test 3 messaging strategies for effectiveness. Our target audience was low-income unmarried women ages 18 to 44 with children. In the first 3 rounds, we targeted 6 counties: Berrien, Calhoun, Chippewa, Genesee, Kent, and Saginaw. These were chosen to represent a good mix of urban and rural and various demographics. The 4th round was geographically statewide. Available data shows our target audience members are heavy users of mobile devices and platforms. Therefore, the project was designed to focus on 3 mobile channels: mobile ads, Facebook ads, and Google paid search. On mobile, we used predictive targeting to deliver ads on mobile apps and browsers to users who met our demographic profile. On Facebook, ads were delivered to Facebook users who met our demographic profile using the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Facebook account. On the phone image on the lower right is an example of one of our Facebook ads. On Google paid search, keywords were refined to deliver an ad which would direct searchers to our grant landing page. This grant project provided an opportunity to test and build upon recommendations on child support messaging undertaken by others previously. With a sequence of marketing interventions on identical channels, different messaging strategies could be tested to see which prompted the desired action we were seeking. In this case, clicking an Apply for Child Support button on the grant landing page. The first messaging strategy, Happy Families, we considered the baseline measure as it represents the current messaging used by OCS. Helpful Services was based on the recommendations from California's research, and the third, Value and Services, was a hybrid of the 2. As I had said, Happy Families is our baseline messaging. In many ways, it's what has motivated those of us who work in child support, so we tend to assume that it's what motivates our participants, but this is probably not the case. In Happy Families, the focus is on why child support services are important. It's what every child deserves. Child support is the right thing to do. It's why we do it. Shown here is a mobile ad for happy families. The images are heartwarming and emotional, and happy parent and child. Next is helpful services, and in this strategy, the focus is on the benefits OCS provides to parents and guardians. OCS helps parents and guardians get the support they need to care for their child and navigate the complexities of the system, provides professional, non-judgmental services, and a middle ground for mothers and fathers. Shown as a mobile ad, and the focus here is more on the parent. It's less emotional, it's more real life. Images of busy working parents. And finally, value and services. And the focus is on the practical value child support brings to everyday life and how OCS can help. Having child support means more money for the expenses of raising a child: groceries, healthcare, food, clothes, etc. You can see on the mobile ad that the images are more parents shopping with kids, kids getting healthcare, kids sitting down for dinner, that sort of thing. So how did it go? Looking at our internal data, our goal was to increase our application proportion by at least 5 percentage points compared to a baseline proportion sampled from the same calendar months in the previous year. Neither our first 3 targeted rounds nor our statewide round showed an increase. For example, this chart shows a comparison of the online application proportion over the course of the weeks of round 4. The control proportion is taken from 1 year prior to the intervention period. In this case, there was no significant improvements in online application proportion. About 17% of our cases were from online applications in the intervention round, compared to 22% from the same time the previous year. While we did not see an increase in the proportion of online applications compared to the previous year, there were also several contributing factors to consider. The 4th round reflects a control and intervention sample, both obtained during the COVID-19 pandemic, the control at the beginning and the intervention much later. Even though both rounds took place during the pandemic, the intervention round does not replicate all of the conditions in the control round when COVID was a new threat, such as the additional unemployment benefits, vaccine not being available, child care closures. When these conditions existed, we saw an increase in new cases overall, which we believe has settled down a bit since the situation has improved somewhat. I'll touch on the pandemic a bit more later. When we analyze the data from our 3 messaging strategies, no clear winner emerges. In each round, one may have performed a percentage point above or below the others. For example, using the click-through rate on our mobile ads, we can see small differences in each round, but nothing consistent. Click-through rate is the number of people who were delivered the ad and clicked on it. Mobile was consistent for driving the highest number of impressions or number of times the ad was displayed. Even though it had the highest impressions, mobile users were not as likely to continue to the portal or to download information as Google search and Facebook users. The messaging strategy did not make much of a difference. Facebook had fewer impressions than mobile, but relatively more people clicked ads there. Facebook users were also more likely to click through to the application portal or download information than mobile users. Facebook users seemed to prefer newer content. Google search had the lowest impressions but the highest click-through rate. Our marketing vendor calls Google search a bottom of the funnel tactic because it captures people who are actively looking for information, so conversions are much higher than other channels. Google search also had the highest percentage of people who continued to complete our Google Analytics goal. This goal was set up to measure people who arrived on our landing page and then clicked the Apply for Child Support button, which continues to our child support portal. During 2020, many Michigan residents were facing hardship, grief, and economic instability due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 3rd round of digital marketing interventions was scheduled for April of 2020, and this was put on pause until the fall. The fall brought its own complications with a contentious presidential election and a second wave of COVID-19. Due to the pandemic, child support systems were also stressed. Unprecedented levels of unemployment meant many child support payers were either unable to pay or looked to modify their payment. To add to this, many county offices and courts were closed through part of the year, and OCS staff transitioned to remote work. Many participants took to social media to either reach out for help or to vent. As MDHHS was issuing pandemic orders, their Facebook page was flooded with comments from users airing grievances about the pandemic. While some might say there's no such thing as bad engagement, we ultimately decided to pause posting unpaid content after the second round of interventions. Posting unpaid content was an original component of the grant's design, which we scrapped. While every project has surprises and challenges, 2020 was exceptional. It raises questions about the quality of the project's data and replicability. It's fair to say that citizens' thoughts, feelings, and reactions were likely different than they were in previous years. While data collected through this project did not always provide a clear answer on some questions, it does point to areas where further audience research is necessary, such as: what do Michigan residents know or not know about our services? Where does our target audience hang out online, if at all? What channel do they prefer to hear from us on? What messaging resonates and prompts desired actions? While funds for these activities presently are not available, OCS will seek opportunities to budget for them and look for low-cost ways to gather this market research. OCS has appreciated this grant opportunity and views it as a first step on a journey into digital marketing. The insights received will inform our future efforts to connect with our participants. As our grant cohort moves forward, OCS staff will look for opportunities to be further involved in learning and engagement. Thank you for your time and for your interest in this project. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Amy Price, or if you have questions about evaluation, please reach out to Brian Roberts, our statistician.